All right, guys, welcome back to the Pocket Mads channel. It's Maddie here, and guess what? The new set coming to Pokemon TCG Pocket has been officially announced. It is going to be the next mini set. It's B4A, and it is called Team Rocket's Ambition. The trailer came out, and a bunch of really interesting cards came out or were shown in that trailer. So in today's video, we're going to break it all down. We're going to speculate. We're going to talk about these cards. In fact, I actually have a lot of opinions. This is going to be one of the more controversial slash interesting, set announcements that we've ever had for multiple different reasons. We're going to break them all down in today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to go register. PMPT number 43 is this coming Saturday. It's the last tournament of this new season, or the current season, I should say. So link to register down in the description below. Definitely go and tune in to the live stream as well if you're not playing. But anyway, let's dive right into it, guys. Feel free, please comment down below, share your thoughts, share your opinions. There's a lot of stuff we have to talk about here before we get into the cards. Now, the main one being that this is going to be the introduction of sort of trainer-associated Pokemon. You might be familiar with this if you know anything about the official Pokemon trading card game. It's nothing new. Like, from way back in the day, in one of, I think, some of the original sets, like the second series of the original Pokemon cards, there was like the Gym Challenge and Gym Trainers and Team Rocket sets, right? So this is something that I think a lot of people have maybe been anticipating coming to Pokemon Pocket. What this means is that there's a new sort of subcategory of Pokemon, and we have seen this before multiple different ways. The one, or I guess the couple of things that I'm going to use to compare this new concept are, the ideas that we had previously being like Ultra Beast Pokemon, and then more recently in Paradox Drive, we had ancient and past Paradox Pokemon, right? Which were, kind of subcategories of these Pokemon, and then they had like individual support cards and synergies within them. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's kind of the next version of that. So I'm comparing, Team Rocket's Pokemon to Ultra Beasts to Paradox Pokemon in the sense that they have their own separate classification. Now, what's cool about this, though, is that thematically, I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in this. Team Rocket, of course, very cool. Giovanni, one of the more popular characters. So this is a cool thing they're doing to Pokemon Pocket, and I'm really excited about it. That also being said, this is a mini set, right? So being a mini set and just coming off of Ruler of the Skies, where the metagame shaped up tremendously different with all of the new inclusions, this is a mini set, so there's going to be a lot less cards coming out now than there was in the previous set. That's just how Pokemon Pocket works. So, we have to understand that when mini sets come out, the metagame might not change as rapidly, as it does when full expansions come out. So that's the other thing, all right? So I want you guys to kind of suspend your belief. I'm also wearing a Celtics hat today because I haven't done anything with my hair, so you guys can make fun of me about that. But anyway, that's kind of all of the caveats, or the caveats? The caveats. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that word per se, but yes. So I say it every time new cards release, but I'm going to say it again. Suspend your judgment just slightly. We can speculate. We can talk about how good or how bad we think some of these new cards are. The reality is that we do not have the full context of the entire set. So it is somewhat difficult to judge how strong these cards will be. But again, that's where the speculation comes in, and I have a lot of things that I'm speculating about this set. The other thing I want to mention as well is that a while ago, it was actually data mined that Team Rocket type cards were going to be included to Pokemon Pocket. So we did have some type of an idea that this was coming, and there were some actual card effect descriptions that were also leaked a while ago. Some of those card effects are shown and used in some of the cards that we see here in this trailer, but some of them aren't. And there's one thing in particular that they haven't announced yet. It's an effect that kind of was data mined or leaked that I will be talking about here because I think that it is somewhat relevant to the context of the Pokemon in the cards that were shown in this trailer. So anyway, there we go. This is a long intro, but we should just start talking about it. So I guess sort of like the front runner card for this is actually going to be a supporter card, a new supporter card called Team Rocket's Boss. Now, I was curious about this because I knew there would be a Giovanni card, but we already have Giovanni in the game. So here it is. It's Team Rocket's Boss. This is a supporter card that reads, look at your opponent's hand and put any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. Now, this can be a very strong effect, especially considering that oftentimes decks are playing more basic Pokemon than they really need. And it's a pretty common thing for decks to hold onto a basic Pokemon instead of playing it because it could be a potential target for bench damage to lose the game, like as a primary losing condition. So these types of effects are sometimes pretty relevant. Now, Pokemon Pocket is a little bit different than the official Pokemon TCG. It's much less common to have additional sort of basic Pokemon that you're not benching. But but if you play Pokemon Pocket, you do know that there's a lot of times where, especially maybe early in games, you don't bench those Pokemon, maybe because of like an early game Cyrus, or if a Greninja is on the board, you're not going to bench, your baby Pokemon, right? A lot of decks playing baby Pokemon might be playing, 2 or 3 copies of them, and you really only need the one for the leadoff, right? So forcing your opponent to maybe bench a baby Pokemon to get targeted. There are some applications to this card particularly. I don't know off the top of my head, though, if this is something that will necessarily commonly fit into a 20-card deck list. One thing that we always talk about at this point in Pokemon Pocket's life cycle is that there are a lot, and I mean a lot of strong cards. Every deck, of course, is centered around the Pokemon, but as we know, trainer cards are very relevant to Pokemon Pocket decks, and there's already a lot of really good trainer cards. So it's tough for a trainer card to come out to find its way into a deck list unless it is specifically very valuable to a strategy. So I think this is a card to me at first glance that has some potential to definitely be included in certain types of decks, maybe being bench damaging decks or, things like that, right? Think of things like Helioptile or Heliolisk rather in the current metagame, which does like spread damage to the bench. Things like that might be able to utilize a card like this. It does have, I think, more specific applications in Pokemon Pocket, but it is an interesting card nonetheless. There are a couple other trainer cards that they did preview to us, but we're just going to go in order. So one of the cooler things that they announced, and this is also a bit of a throwback set because we are getting a new Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres EX cards. We're getting new versions of those. And as you guys probably know, these were sort of some of the 3 sort of centerpiece cards that came out in Genetic Apex, the initial sort of set when Pokemon Pocket first came out. So this is like a cool throwback, but you would think that these cards at first glance would be like extraordinarily more powerful than those cards that came out almost 2 years ago, but you would be wrong at first glance. Some of these cards are quite interesting. Let's take a look at all of them. This is Team Rocket's Articuno, and these are Team Rocket's Pokemon. So again, whenever we're talking about these cards, keep in mind that there is going to be, undoubtedly, there's going to be a bunch of different support cards and trainer cards or bench-sitting Pokemon that synergize specifically with Team Rocket's Pokemon, right? Think of, Lucamine and Celesteela for Ultra Beasts, right? Think of, Professor Sada or Professor Turo and the Ancient Boosters, right? For the Ancient and future, Paradox Pokemon, right? So there's going to be stuff like that in this set. I'm almost certain of it, that are going to be specifically there to work with and make better the Team Rocket's Pokemon. And the reason why I strongly believe this is because a lot of these Team Rocket's Pokemon really aren't that good at first glance. And to me, if I had to guess, it sounds like they're sort of under-tuning these Pokemon because they don't want them to be too strong with the context of all of the additional Team Rocket's support that they're going to be getting when the set releases. So just keep that in mind. Here is Team Rocket's Articuno. A basic EX Pokemon, 130 HP. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head the amount of HP that the original Legendary Bird EX Pokemon had, but these cards do not have a lot of HP, and in fact, I do think this is less than Articuno EX, which has 140, which is already interesting that it has less HP. It's got 2 attacks, Ice Wing for 40 for 1 colorless and 1 water energy. And then there's Hailstorm, which does 130 for 2 water and 1 colorless. And the effect of this attack is that it also does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon, not your opponent, your bench Pokemon, which is very interesting. Now, being a water-type Pokemon, we do have access to Soothing Shore, right? So to me, sure, this is definitely a downside, but as we all know, they typically undertune these types of water Pokemon, especially basic Pokemon like this, because as we know, Misty does exist. So no matter what happens in the set, you best believe there's going to be some Misty shenanigans alongside Team Rocket's Articuno, because going turn 1, 130 is in fact quite strong, even if it's not the most consistent thing in the world, with Misty, but they keep that card in mind still. And it might be, a high roll type strategy strong enough to be relevant. But yes, Soothing Shore does allow you to kind of, at least if your bench Pokemon have water energy on them, it's going to allow you to attack with Hailstorm and then heal that Pokemon up directly after once your turn ends. So I think that's the idea here with the Hailstorm attack. Now, I do also want to tell you that these Pokemon, and I want to concentrate on this, have 2 different attacks, one being a lower energy attack cost and one being a 3 energy attack cost, but they both have a colorless energy in their attack cost. And that is going to be very important, and I'll probably tell you why in a little bit, but just keep that in mind. So that is Team Rocket's Articuno. Next up is Team Rocket's Zapdos, which in fact has 120. So this Pokemon has the same amount of HP as Genetic Apex Pikachu. I don't think Zapdos has the same defensive stats as a Pikachu, but there you go. Also, Electro Ball. So they all do one colored energy, one colorless for 40 damage. And then Zapdos here has Thunder Claw. So for 2 lightning and a colorless, it does 90 to the active, and also does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage on it, which is quite interesting. I do think Team Rocket Zapdos could be a decent card when you pair it with other spread damage, bench damage strategies for the Lightning archetype. We do have versions of this. The whole Clements package built around Helioptile, or Heliolisk rather, and Magneton are specifically kind of about bench damage. So this seemingly works pretty well. With that, I think Raikou EX also does bench damage. There's other Lightning Pokemon that can damage the bench. So this is kind of the theme for Zapdos, right? 90 and 50 is quite strong. I'm not going to lie to you. That's not a terrible attack. And we do have a bunch of ways to turbo Lightning Energy onto Zapdos. But also keep in mind that one energy is a colorless energy, guys. I'm just trying, listen, I'm planting the seeds because I'm going to tell you something in a little bit that I do think is pretty relevant. And you guys might already know the direction I'm going. Excuse me, maybe you don't, but maybe you can just wait and see. Anyway, that's Team Rocket Zapdos. And then lastly is actually going to be a full art version here of Team Rocket's Moltres, which I do like with the R in the background. This looks cool to me. So they did hint what the full art cards are going to look like with the Giovanni supporter in Moltres. This card is interesting. Again, 130, and I'm pretty sure Moltres had 140, the original Moltres EX. It's got 2 different attacks. The first one, this thing reminds me of like Stoke Charizard, but it's a basic, by the way. The first one here, Heat Charged, not Heat Charged, but Heat Charged with a D. 1 fire energy, flip 3 coins. Victini Victory Star, as we know, does exist. Flip 3 coins for each heads, produce a fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. Now, this wording is new. I don't know if this is something that we should be really thinking too much about, but yes, this is a new way of saying this on the card. You know, all of the cards that do something like this previously released have different wording. And it comes down to that produce word. And I might be overthinking this, but this is something that is worth mentioning, maybe. Flip 3 coins for each heads, produce a fire energy from your energy zone. I don't know how that's different from just generating or attaching fire energies from your energy zone. But yes, we are producing a fire energy from our energy zone and then attaching it. So this might just be a correction. They maybe are just sort of planning to reword cards like this for sort of future effects or future integrations for Pokemon Pocket. It's new, so it's something worth talking about. But yes, you get to flip 3 coins, and every one of those energies, it's just like the other Moltres, but it's to itself and not your bench Pokemon, which is kind of cool. The attack here, Nether Wing, does 130, and you discard a fire energy from this Pokemon, and it's 3 fire and 1 colorless. So it's not a 3 energy attack cost, it's a 4 energy attack cost, and it doesn't have that sort of, aggressive 2 energy attack that the other 2 Pokemon have. So this one is a bit different. I actually do like this. Like, again, we do have Rainbow Cave Flame Patch, and this thing can set itself up. You have Victini. So it's going to be a very aggressive Pokemon. Again, it's basically Stokesard, but it's a basic Pokemon. It's got less HP, a little bit less damage, but, you know, keep in mind, Stokesard was pretty good at one point in time. A lot of people are going to think these cards are bad. Like, I'm not going to tell you right off the first glance, I think these cards are great. I don't think any of these 3 cards are that impressive when I look at them at face value. But once again, we don't have the full context of the set, and there will be other things that are going to be releasing in the set for specifically Team Rocket's Pokemon that are going to make all of these cards feel a bit stronger than they do at face value. And I'm telling you that in almost certainty because that's how these mini sets go. I've been around the block long enough, and I'm sure you guys have too. It doesn't make a lot of sense to judge these cards without the context of the full set. But there's one thing I want to talk about right now, and we're gonna pause to this. I don't have the post, but there were effects and basically like leaked data mined card effects for the Team Rocket set that were like data mined a while ago. And I mentioned that earlier in this video, but one of the effects that was data mined that we haven't seen announced here in these cards in the trailer is one particular type of effect, which was actually an energy stealing effect. Okay, this is going to be a Team Rocket card that is an energy stealing effect. Now, I don't know exactly what that effect is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there's some type of card that was data mined or leaked or, I guess thought to be coming in this set that allowed you to steal an energy from your opponent's Pokemon and attach it to one of your Team Rocket's Pokemon. That to me does sound like it actually makes a lot of sense, again, given the context of these legendary bird Pokemon, because again, they're all somewhat weak. They all have colorless energy in their attack costs, and they're all a little bit low on HP. The HP is surprising to me. I would not be surprised if there was some type of maybe a damage reduction effect, or rather an HP boosting effect, specifically for Team Rocket's Pokemon that we will be getting in this set. Just because, again, 120 HP is very low. And, I can't imagine that there's going to be really anything like that. But again, it might be their way of undertuning these Pokemon, because there's going to be some broken support cards that pair with them that if these cards were as strong as they typically would be, with that additional support, they would be a little bit too strong. So trust me, I understand these cards may not seem that good at face value, but let's just take a look at Articuno and Zapdos, for example. Again, water and a colorless, 2 water and a colorless. Now, Articuno is different because you do have Misty anyway. But just imagine a supporter card that was steal an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon and attach it to Articuno. All of a sudden, the colorless energy in these Pokemon's attack cost is kind of crazy, and this 2 energy attack cost ends up being basically a single energy attack cost. So not only are you able to go +1, but you're also able to force your opponent to go -1, which could be a massive, massive turning point, and that could be a very, very big deal in the grand scheme of sort of how good these cards are. So again, that's just an early speculation. It was a leak. It was a data mine that came out a while ago, and it's not something they've announced formally in this trailer. But looking at these cards, and Zapdos as well, it's just an effect that I do think makes a lot of sense to be coming based off of what I'm seeing here with these cards. I'm just going to say that outright, right? The colorless energy, the extra energy in these attack costs, to me, does tell me that that is, in fact, likely what's going to be coming out alongside these Pokemon. That's just my speculation. I don't know if that effect is going to be in the form of an item or, a supporter card or a stadium. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe a bench-sitting Pokemon. We don't know. There's no way to know, but I do think that these cards kind of make sense with that context. So my suspicion is that these Team Rocket's Pokemon will be paired with energy stealing, an energy stealing effect that's going to make them all seem a little bit stronger. But at first glance, I think they're interesting. But again, if they don't get any support, these cards are just not going to see play. They're just not good. Maybe Articuno, because of 130 for 3, because you could technically turbo to it pretty easily. And Zapdos to a lesser extent. Also, them being 2 prize Pokemon is awkward. Like I mentioned for Zapdos, we do have Magneton and Clement and, Heliolisk, but those are single prize Pokemon. And typically, you don't really want to pair those with a low HP 2 prize Pokemon, because the prize math just doesn't really work out very well. You know what I'm talking about? So it's interesting. It is quite interesting. We'll have to see how strong these cards are at first glance. To me, I think Moltres is the best one at first glance, but again, that's without any context. So there you go. All right. Anyway, there you go, guys. Let's move over to Team Rocket's Lapras. And again, 1 water, 1 colorless. It's going to be a recurring theme. All of these Rockets Pokemon have a colorless energy in their attack cost. This is Ruthless Whirlpool. Does 40 damage. And if this Pokemon has more energy attached than your opponent's active Pokemon, this attack also does 40 more damage. So again, a card that would make a ton of sense in a deck where you could steal energy. You could go, let's say you have an energy, your opponent has an energy. Well, now you could steal that energy and then go 2 on Lapras, and all of a sudden you hit for 80 damage on a Pokemon onto your opponent, which now has 0, right? So a card like this makes a lot of sense with an energy stealing effect. Again, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but if we don't get an effect like that, I don't think Lapras is going to be that strong. Keep in mind, you could just Misty to it. It's another leadoff Pokemon that you could just high roll with Misty and just kind of sweep through your opponent. So it's not terrible, but it's also not great. Next up is Team Rocket's Tinkaton, which I did not expect to come. It's a stage 2 steel-type Pokemon, 2 steel and a colorless, so another colorless energy in here. This is the full art version. Pile Driving Hammer does 80 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, attacks used by the defending Pokemon cost 2 more energy, and its retreat cost is also 2 more. So yet again, another card that really plays into that sort of sub-context effect that we don't have announced yet. It would make a lot of sense if we had energy stealing alongside Tinkaton, which could slow down your opponent, increase their attack and retreat cost, effectively just locking your opponent into the active. All of that makes a ton of sense. Also, I believe we still have Team Rocket's Grunt, which is a card that sometimes discards energy off a coin flip, right? So that's another thing you got to keep in mind. Team Rocket Grunt is a card that we already have, and it's about energy removal, right? And a lot of these attacks here, at least that we're seeing between Lapras and Tinkaton, are kind of about, you know, having more energy than your opponent, or energy advantage, which is always a really big deal in Pokemon Pocket. I like Tinkaton. It's interesting. There's also a Team Rocket's Houndour. Now, this to me is a very interesting thing to talk about, just in the sense that if we have a Team Rocket's Houndour, then we most certainly have a Team Rocket's Houndoom, okay? That's obviously something to mention here, but keep in mind that if we have a Team Rocket's Houndour, then that means you're also going to have the previous evolution Team Rocket versions for the evolution Pokemon that are Team Rocket's Pokemon, is all I'm saying. So there will be a Team Rocket's Tinkatink, and in fact, it does say it here in the card, it evolves from Team Rocket's Tinkatuff, and then we're also going to have a Team Rocket's Tinkatink. So basically, for all of these Team Rocket's Pokemon, you're only going to be able to evolve into them using the pre-evolution Team Rocket's version of that card. And that's what this Houndour, I think, is showing us, basically. Also, we're going to be getting a Team Rocket's Houndoom. So I don't know, maybe it's an EX, maybe it's not. There's also Team Rocket's Mewtwo, which is a basic Pokemon. Yeah, 100 HP Psychic, two Psychic and a Colorless. Again, another colorless energy in the attack cost. Guys, listen, I'm just saying, energy stealing is probably coming in this set, and it's going to be super toxic, and it's likely going to be very strong in the context of the cards that are available here. So just keep that in mind. If you're haters, then you can continue to hate until that effect comes out and all of this stuff becomes super broken. Just stay tuned for that. 130 and 70 damage to itself. This card doesn't seem very good, but again, if you can go +1 and just go turbo, 130 on turn 2 is going to be quite strong, I would say. Team Rocket's Arbok, another colorless energy in the attack cost. Shadow Seeker, and evolves from Team Rocket's Ekans. 70 damage, 10 more damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Now, we do have cards. Do we have actually Dark-type Pokemon in the game? I think it's Ariados. Maybe that's a grass Pokemon, but there are Pokemon in the game that would increase your opponent's Pokemon's retreat cost. So this seems to be something that would fit into an archetype like that. Here's one red herring example of a Team Rocket's Pokemon that does not have a colorless energy in the attack cost. It's got the attack Entrap. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot, and if you do, this attack does 50 damage to the new active Pokemon. So you switch, and then you hit the new Pokemon. Pretty cool. It's 2 Psychic. Again, I don't know. This is an interesting card. I don't think it would be that strong, but it could be. It could be quite interesting. And here is Team Rocket's Persian, which you knew would be in here. And yes, it evolves from Team Rocket's Meowth. So you're not going to be able to use the Meowth that's currently in the game. There's going to be a new Meowth to evolve into Team Rocket's Persian. Dangerous Rogue, 2 colorless, 10 damage, 40 more damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So this goes directly well, of course, with the new Team Rocket supporter card, right? The, what is it called? This one up here. Team Rocket's Boss, who's Giovanni. It's going to be confusing. But Rocket Boss here, you're able to put basic Pokemon from your opponent's hand onto their bench. And as we know here, Persian does more damage based around how many Pokemon are on your opponent's bench. So there you go. Sweet. Team Rocket's Boss will be kind of nice for something like a Suicune, though. Like if you're playing a Suicune deck, this might be a decent one of. So there are applications to this card. Team Rocket's Persian is one example of that. Next up is Team Rocket's Master Plan, another supporter card. So 2 supporter cards revealed in the trailer. Maybe we get another one, maybe not. We don't know. We're gonna have to wait. Anyway, this is not Team Rocket's Grunt. This is Team Rocket's Plan, featuring, of course, Team Rocket Grunts. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused, okay? So we just get confusion straight up here with a supporter card. Flip a coin if tails, your active Pokemon is also now confused. Okay, so guaranteed confusion on your opponent is quite toxic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that sucks. I don't like this card at all. But at least half the time you do, of course, confuse yourself. Now this is interesting. This will pair really well with that new tool card, which doesn't really see much meta play, which protects your Pokemon from status conditions. It's called like something Veil. I forget. Something Veil. So if you just use this and your active Pokemon has that tool card attached, you don't get confused because you're immune to it, but your opponent's Pokemon will be confused. Confusion is an interesting, it's an interesting status condition. Basically, I don't think if I'm remembering it right, it doesn't go away unless you retreat or swap your active Pokemon. So it's continuously there, and every single turn you have to flip a coin in order to make your attack work. So it's different than sleep. It basically, like, this is a guaranteed confusion, and your opponent's gonna have to just deal with that confusion on a 50-50 chance to be able to attack, and it won't go away unless they heal their status condition or they swap out. So confusion's interesting. It's one of the less popular status conditions in the game, but this card could be this card could be something. I'm just saying. I don't love that at first glance. And then we have a item card. So 3 trainer cards were announced. The last one here is an item card. So no tool cards shown, no stadium cards shown. And also, yeah, those are the only types. So supporter, item, tool, stadium. So there's going to be probably a tool card and a stadium in here. We've yet to see it. Team Rocket's Thieving Machine. This also, again, really kind of plays into the same concept of energy stealing. This case, it's actually item card stealing, which is very interesting. This is an item card here. Put a random, and that's important, a random item card from Team Rocket's, except any Team Rocket's Thieving Machine, from your opponent's discard pile into your hand. Into your hand. So you're going to take one of your opponent's discarded cards and put it into your hand. This could be rare candy, right? This could be Pokeball. To be honest, I'm just going to say this at first glance, like most decks aren't playing that many item cards. They're playing Pokeballs. They're playing maybe a Field Blower. And they're playing rare candy, if that, right? Like there aren't a lot of item cards that decks play. So this is actually at first glance not a terrible card. I don't know if it will ever see play. Again, 20 card decks do exist, but being able to kind of play maybe additional kind of rare candy or Pokeballs in your deck like is kind of a big deal. Keep in mind, like if you have the deck space, if you're playing double Pokeball and rare candy in your deck list, then you can just play double Thieving Machine and effectively have multiple copies of either of those. It's an interesting proposition. I don't know how good this card will be in a 20 card deck list format like what we have in Pokemon Pocket, but it is interesting nonetheless, I will say. There's also a Marowak, so we are confirmed to be getting non-Team Rocket's Pokemon in this in the set, in this booster. And here is a Marowak, although don't get confused because Team Rocket is in the background of this card. It's just not a Team Rocket's card. Punish here, Punish, 1 fighting, 1 colorless, 50 damage, and if your opponent's Pokemon has Team Rocket in its name, it does 70 more damage. So this is the card that is strong into Team Rocket Pokemon, but is not a Team Rocket Pokemon. And then the last 2 here are actually just promo cards. So that Lapras, Team Rocket's Lapras, very suspect look on Lapras's face here, I will say. Also, he's not even in the water. He's just on top of the water. Is that how Lapras swims? I don't think this is how Lapras swims. I'm pretty sure Lapras like goes in the water. Maybe like it's the upper portion of it is out of the water because I assume floats, right? Have we ever seen a Lapras go fully under the water? I don't think that's been the case, but I certainly don't remember Lapras just sort of skirting on top of the water like a Surskit. That's not how Lapras goes. That's a weird art. Anyway, and then we're also getting Fennekin. So this is it's just Fennekin. It scratches for 10. It's a promo. Now this is interesting because as we know, Fennekin evolves into Delphox. And as we know as well, probably I don't know, Delphox has a Mega Pokemon that released in Legends ZA. So maybe we get Mega Delphox or a Delphox card. We're definitely getting a Delphox card. Maybe it's a Mega. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just an EX. I don't know. Stop asking me questions that I don't that I don't know about. But anyway, guys, those are the cards, man. That's what we've gotten. Again, I gave you kind of my speculation. If we go down a little bit, this set is planning to release on August 27th, which is in fact 1 week, 7 days from as I record this right now on August 20th. And we have some new events, which is interesting stuff. Many events will take place to get exclusive cards, cosmetics, and many other rewards. The Great Puzzle Challenge from August 27th. So when the set releases, the Great Puzzle Challenge will also be releasing. By solving Team Rocket's related puzzles on a special website, you can obtain serial codes to redeem pack hourglasses. More information on this expansion release by checking on the official Pokemon TCG Pocket X account. So there's going to be some type of activity that you can do outside of the game to redeem a code to get additional hourglasses in the game. That's cool. Sure. Why not? I don't know why we have to go through the extra step, but maybe it's fun. Maybe the puzzle is fun. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but extra hourglasses, I guess I can't complain. Team Rocket special assignments. And this is all new stuff, by the way. This is something like these are types of things we haven't actually seen in the game ever before. So it is kind of cool. Team Rocket special assignments from August 28th, so the day after the set releases, all the way through to September 29th, which is an important date. September 29th is an important date because that is the speculated next release date or end of this season, whether there is a Deluxe B coming out on September 29th or 30th, or of course, maybe there's just going to be a new set. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Or hopefully we get information about that at Worlds, because this set is releasing almost, I think, directly coinciding with the Pokemon World Championships and Pokemon XP being the event where there is a Pokemon Pocket panel, where there is actually speculated and confirmed to be some type of an announcement at Pokemon XP Pokemon Pocket panel. I will not be at Worlds. I would like to, but it's all the way across the country, and nobody invited me, and I'm not a Worlds competitor, so I'm not going to Worlds, but I think some people are in the community, which is cool. Anyway, Team Rocket's Ambition Emblem event. Oh, sorry, I didn't even read this. Team Rocket's special assignments. Complete missions to obtain Team Rocket's shady tickets and find out where they can be used in-game to redeem various rewards. So there's a new ticket currency. So again, maybe they've done this before in the past, but it's been a while since they added like a new ticket. It's colored like Team Rocket, which is kind of cool. They show hourglasses and, like both types of hourglasses, right? So maybe that's just another thing to do to get those. Anyway, Team Rocket's Ambition Emblem event from August 28th through September 9th. The emblem event is back. Win multiple battles to earn emblems and other rewards such as pack hourglasses. And look at this emblem here, guys. I don't know if this is the ranked emblem or if this is like the special emblem for Team Rocket's Ambition Emblem event. I don't know, but this emblem is super cool. And if this is the ranked emblem event, if this is the ranked battles emblem, I think that's really cool. And this is something that I'm actually quite interested in getting because it does look very cool. Specifically, that Team Rocket's Lapras drop event where he's on top of the water for some reason is September 10th through the 20th. And it's a drop event to get promo cards. We've seen it all before. And right here, Fennekin and Meowstic Wonder Pick events. So there's also a Meowstic, I guess, coming from this Wonder Pick event. So I assume there's going to be, cards that are relevant to Fennekin and Meowstic that are also in the set to a degree. That's my expectation. Shout out to Fennekin, we love it. And here are some new accessories as part of the premium shop monthly update. A new set of cover binder and display drops are going to be available, purchasable with premium pass from August 1st. So premium pass rewards, all of that good stuff. All that good stuff. Interesting stuff. Let's read the comments here. I'm always interested about the comments. So will you not be able to evolve Team Rocket versions into regular versions and vice versa? Exactly. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, you're going to need Team Rocket's Pokemon to evolve into Team Rocket's Pokemon and vice versa. Delete Orcorio says, by the way, why not also post the leaked Team Rocket's hideout, which generates colorless energy for Team Rocket mods? Okay, hold on. This is news to me. Let me see a reply. It's not in the leaks. Where did you get that from? Okay. Then maybe I was crazy. So that's another speculative. I think he's just speculating. He's strangely wording a speculation. Maybe he's imagining things. But I do believe there's probably going to be a stadium card called Team Rocket's Hideout. I haven't heard anything or any leaks regarding colorless energy generation for Team Rocket Pokemon. However, that would be broken. I think the energy stealing thing was data mined and was leaked. I don't know if that will be the stadium card, but there's likely going to be a Team Rocket's Hideout or some type of stadium as well that synergizes with the Team Rocket's Pokemon. Stadiums are something that are very impactful and important to Pokemon Pocket in recent history, and of course they haven't announced one for this set, so there probably will be in the set. And then this person says, is it just me or is there nothing impressive so far? I'm seeing a lot of colorless energy in the attacks, so I'm imagining where we're going to get an Iron Valiant for Team Rocket. Okay, interesting. Let's see. If there's no Iron Valiant, it looks too much above the curve, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Thanks, lackluster so far. Okay. All right. Interesting nonetheless. So again, I do think a lot of these cards look quite underwhelming at first glance. It's one of those. We're in one of those situations where I think we're missing the plot. There's something here that we don't know about yet, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. Again, my running theory is energy stealing. That is what I do think will be incorporated in here somehow. Maybe it is colorless energy generation. Keep in mind, they made these cards weaker for a reason. They don't purposely release cards objectively worse than all other cards for no reason, right? It's somewhat similar to other Pokemon. Like, you remember how like Miraidon and Koraidon didn't seem that strong at face value? Because they really aren't that strong at face value, but they get access to their respective supporter cards and their tool cards. So all of a sudden they seem quite strong. And in fact, they are two of some of the more relevant Pokemon in the metagame. Think about Ultra Beasts, right? Think about how Buzzwole as a card, it doesn't seem very good, but we have Lucamine, you have Celesteela, like the Ultra Beasts got a plenty of support that made those Pokemon seem a lot better after they were released. And this is the comparative version of those sets, right? Think of Ultra Beast, think of Paradox Drive, think of extra dimensional crisis. Like, this is the set that is thematically in line with those other mini sets, and it's going to be built similarly to them. So if you are interested, definitely go and check out those sets and look back, right? I actually do like this set conceptually. Design-wise, I think it's very exciting. I think casual players will eat this set up, and hopefully Pokemon Pocket makes a bunch of money, because why not, I guess. But yeah, Team Rocket's Pokemon, it's exciting, but it does open up the stipulation for a future set to maybe just be like a gym leader Pokemon, right? Maybe we get like a Blaine's, Ninetales, or Blaine's Magmar. Maybe we get like Misty's, Starmie, right? Like, there's all of that stuff that can come into the game now, which is quite interesting. And they had a full set like that in the official TCG as well, which was pretty exciting. So that's kind of the direction that they seem to be going here, at least at the end of B series, and maybe as we continue on to the C series. We don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see, but it is quite interesting. Keep in mind, they did continue to release, I think, Ultra Beast Pokemon in future expansions. I don't know if they've done it yet for the Paradox Pokemon, but it's just one of these things where they'll kind of sprinkle them into the future, right? And continue to support these sub-archetypes. I do like it generally when they do this. It is somewhat pretty fun. I'm going to sign out of here. Why is Lapras on top of the water? Can someone comment here? Can somebody please let me know? What is going on? And why does his face look like that? Okay, I'm a little sussed out by Lapras, but there you go, guys. What do you think of Team Rocket's ambition? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Share your thoughts. Share your opinions. Share your dreams, your hopes and your dreams, your plans for tonight for dinner. Share them down below. I would love to hear it. Comment down, guys. Let me know. Go register. Go register for PMPT number 43. Link to register down in the description below. Also, go check out PocketMats.com. I heard it's the coolest website ever. Somebody told me that, in fact. So go check it out. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Stay tuned for all of the future information coming. We'll see you guys next time. And yeah. Bye.